Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to see you this evening. Congratulations on your nomination. Can you first of all tell us a little bit about this short film, Honesty?
Yes. The film a lot of the theme of the film is essentially about who and what we deem worthy of belief, what we stand for, and so as you can imagine, like with a lot that's going on in the world, it was really important to kind of bring together. I kind of just hope it kind of speaks to people. We really did make it as one of those very small films that we didn't expect anyone to see, so it's kind of been amazing for it to have this journey.
And tell us a bit about the initial inspiration for it and what the journey was like to getting it made.
I guess like the film kind of came about as a lot of conversations with some of the collaborators, like the lead actress Emily Renee, who's in the film as well. Essentially just about that experience, especially as a woman, and for us as like mixed race women, of that kind of fish out of water experience, not quite feeling like you fit in, not feeling maybe on first meeting people know where to place you, and kind of growing that as a theme into being able to talk about how that actually is something that no matter who you are, a lot of people do identify with. We were kind of thinking about it over the lockdown during COVID, and so we'd written it to be something in a funny way that could just be filmed in one room, very simple, maybe something we did even filmed ourselves. But then it kind of grew and grew and grew. We grew a team, we managed to get the support of the BFI and BBC, and it's been amazing.
And it does feel like more and more these sorts of topics are getting a bit more screen time. I was thinking of I May Destroy You from Michaela Cole, and kind of like zeroing in on particularly the female experience, whether you've suffered assault or abuse, and that feeling of not being believed, or the rate of prosecution being very, very low. So do you feel like we're kind of breaking new ground, and films like this are symptomatic of that?
I hope so. I hope a big thing that I come from a background as a documentary filmmaker, and so for me it's been very interesting moving into narrative, having spent a lot of time in a way with people who authentically go through the experience, that I think we were really wary when making a film as well, that it was about being able to open the door for people to talk about these themes, but equally to redirect people towards the fact that, exactly like you said, that this is something happening in reality where there are like a lot of women who still aren't able to be believed, whether whether that, like you said, comes to assault or anything that they want to express, whether that's as like artists trying to say things. And so I do hope that it's something that people take more and more seriously, and equally for us as well. Like I'm half Iranian, and it was something that I very much made before what was going on in Iran has kind of hit international headlines. It's something that I just know from my family, and I think with kind of the film coming out at the same time as what's unfolding, I think it's been very poignant for maybe people to see how, even though we do live in the modern world, there are still a lot of ways in which we have to support women in particular to be on equal footing with men.
And of course, coming from mixed heritage, but being from here in the UK, seeing everything that's happening under the Tory government at the moment, how important do you think it is that people like you have a voice, and particularly in the arts industry, and start conversations and have more of a breadth of voices in this kind of cultural aspect?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a really big thing, that I feel very lucky that we're more and more aware of diversity, but that not just being racial diversity, but in terms of people with disabilities being able to tell their own stories. And I think in particular, we're having a really good conversation about the essentially like how, like you said, after a decade of austerity and Tory government, it's had a real impact on working class voices getting through in the arts, and that not just being something for the sake of it, but because I just feel again in a modern era where you do turn to art to learn things about the world, learn things about people and human nature, and therefore you do need to hear from people that are actually going through those experiences.
And just very quickly, what will it mean to you if you do get the award tonight?
God, I haven't even thought about it, but I think as I put it, it would be a really useful thing in order to be able to go on to keep making work. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, really enjoy the evening. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Cheers.